Hi guys, this is Mr. Ibrahim the trader of Gova Trading Academy. Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some examples on how to trade the work zones, okay? Now, the first thing you need to do, remember, is to switch to the D1 time frame. This is the first step. This is the number one step. Switch to the D1 time frame, mark out your monthly equilibrium line, which is here, which is a blue line. Then the next step to take, which is step number 2, is to switch back to the H3 time frame. On the H3 time frame, you should be able to determine the alignment you have. Okay, roughly, you should be able to determine the alignment you have in your mind. So mark out the equilibrium line in your mind where Monday is going to open. So roughly, this is where market is going to open on Monday. So that is going to be the new equilibrium line, but you didn't mark it yet on Monday because Monday has not happened yet. So you need to mark it out in your mind, at the back of your mind, okay? So what we have right now, as you can see, the blue line is down, the green line is going to be anywhere around here above, so which automatically qualifies to be a buy trade alignment. That is step number 2. Step number 3, switch back to the D1 time frame. Switch back to the D1 time frame. When you switch back to the D1 time frame, then look for a candlestick on the D1 time frame. Don't always look at the candlestick that still has the current market price, okay? Don't always look at the candlestick that still has a current market price. Until you can only look at it when market is almost closing. For example, if you are trading on Friday, and this is the Friday candle, let's say the Friday candlestick is bullish. Remember, we are looking at a bullish candle because we have a buy alignment, isn't it? Remember, we have a buy alignment. That is the reason why we are looking for a bullish candle. And remember, the bullish candle we are looking for must be a rectangle candle, isn't it? So right now, this candle, we are waiting for this candlestick to give us a very good rectangle in shape. Even if it is a current market candle, you should be able to see if the candlestick has a very good body or not. So for a current market candle, the body should be very, very long. You understand? Don't take a current market day candle that the candlestick is very short. What you have to do when you see that you are looking at the current day candle on Friday or on Thursday and so on, you need to wait for that candlestick to almost close before you start analyzing the candle. Because if you don't wait for the candlestick to close and you go and mark out your zone like this candle might turn bearish in the evening when market is about to close. This candle might turn bearish. So, but if you check it out during the time when market is about to close, then if you still see the candlestick as a very good bullish candle, then you can take it. But mostly you should always look at the previous candle, okay, which is this. So on this candle right now, I'm going to look at the demand zone on this candle. But remember, on this candle, I can see that this candlestick looks like a square and it looks like a rectangle also. It looks like a rectangle, it also looks like square. So, but let me highlight it to see the zone on the candle. Remember, as at the time of the analysis, this candle was not there yet, as at the time of the analysis, right? So, let's continue. So let me switch lower. That is the fourth thing to do. Whenever you highlight your demand zone, whenever you highlight the demand zone, always switch back to a lower time frame to be able to see the formation clearly, if the formation is a good formation or not, okay? Switch back to a lower time frame to be able to know this. When you switch back to a lower time frame and the formation doesn't look good on the lower time frame, then it means you can see when I switch back to a lower time frame now, you can see this formation, this candlestick on the D1 time frame does not look good on a lower time frame. The demand on this candle does not look good. Let me switch lower again. So switching lower from H3 down to H2, you can see even on H3, you see what the area looks like. This is not how Bank's formation looks like, okay? that area is very weak. This area is looking very rough. It is looking too weak. Okay, so I'm not seeing any good formation around that level. Okay, you can see nothing good around here, nothing good, nothing. So it means that is not the right formation. You need to look at the next candle on the D1. Go back to the D1 time frame again and mark out the next candle. The next candlestick after this one is this other bullish candlestick that we have here. And I believe you can see the imbalance we have on this candlestick. It is much more better than the imbalance on this one, right? Because the imbalance on that other one is looking like rectangle, and it is looking also like a square. So I like trading candlestick that doesn't confuse me in my analysis. I like a straightforward candlestick that shows me an information in a straightforward manner. All right, now this candlestick, after highlighting the demand zone on this candle now, what I need to do is to switch lower. Remember, the reason why we are looking at the demand zone on this candle and the reason why we are looking at a bullish candle here is because on step 2, remember what we have is a buy alignment, isn't it, on step 2? So right now, let me switch back to a lower time frame to mark out the demand zone on this formation. You can see when I switch to a lower time frame, you see the formation here. You see, this is the formation we have. You can see this formation is more better than the one we first saw on the bullish candle up in that area. So what I have to do now is just to mark out my proximal line properly and my distal line in a more proper manner. Okay, just mark my proximal line here, distal line here. So that is it on this zone. You see the zone. Then you need to highlight the zone. You need to highlight the zone. So after highlighting the zone, sometimes whenever you are trying to highlight the zone, it is going to be doing something like this. So what you need to do is just bring it out of the box and just draw it like this, then put it back inside the box. Okay, so that is it. And then you can label your candle. Make sure you always label it as this is buy before, this is buy before. On this buy before, you are waiting to see what is going to happen on the after. You are waiting for price to come back into this zone and you are expecting price to rally up. Okay, so after price has rallied up, then you go back and change this before, you change it to after. Okay, you change it to after since the trade has already worked out. But since the trade has not yet worked out, then you leave it as before. Okay, so that is how I usually do it. All right, now that is it on this CHF JPY. That is it. I believe you are able to see the formation. You see this is a buy trade formation here, and the formation is on a bullish candlestick on the D1. It is sitting exactly at the demand zone of this bullish candle. All right, so that is it, guys. That is it on this zone. Now let us look at the trade on AUD card. Let's look at the trade on AUD card. On AUD card, this is what we have. Remember, the first thing you need to do is to switch to the D1 time frame. So remember, the first thing you need to do is to switch to the D1 time frame on the AUD card or any pair you are taking. So on AUD card right now, this is our monthly equilibrium line. Then the next thing you need to do, this is step 1. Step 2 is to look out on the H3 time frame. On the H3 time frame, you are trying to determine the alignment. So you can clearly see that as at the time of the analysis last week, market price was around this area. So if market is around this level, it means that what you need to be looking for is sell trade alignment, right? But remember, we haven't marked out the alignment, right? The weekly equilibrium line right now because Monday has not yet opened. So what we do is we have the alignment in our mind, at the back of our mind. We have it roughly at the back of our mind. So right now I can clearly see that the blue line is far above and the green line is going to be anywhere around here, which automatically qualifies to be a sell trade alignment. Now I need to switch back to the D1 time frame, and then I need to look for a bearish candlestick. Since this is a sell alignment, I need to be looking for a bearish candle, a bearish candlestick that has a very good body. Okay, now this is a bearish candlestick here on the D1. Now let me highlight the supply zone of that bullish candle using the proximal line distal line. Let me highlight it roughly. After highlighting it roughly, then switch back to a lower time frame and start looking for the zone on a lower time frame. Okay, so you can see this is how the formation looks like on a lower time frame. So just mark your proximal line distal line properly on a lower time frame, and that is it. That is it on the trade. Okay, that is it. So you can see the formation on the trade is a rally base drop, and you can see how strong the drop in price is here. You can see the guys who drop the market, these markets are not retail traders. Okay, banks are the ones that drop the market. So remember I told you guys to always expect a drop in the market that has an angle 90 or angle. Look at it. This is what I mean. Look at it. Some of you are fond of taking trades that the market is going in a way like this. Stop doing that. You need to take trades that markets drop down like this, or sometimes markets can drop down like this. Just make sure your zone is good. Okay, if market is rallying up, just make sure the rally in price is a strong rally in price that represent big banks. Don't take trades that the rally in price is like this. You can see this is bending. It doesn't make sense. So that is it on this AUD card trade. You can see the reason why I took it. Okay, so that is it, guys. Now let's go to AUD XAUCHF. So on XAUCHF, the first thing you need to do, remember, the first step is to mark out the monthly equilibrium line. The next step is to look out for what alignment is going to be. So I can clearly see that as at the time of the analysis on Friday last week, market price was around this area, around this level. So it means that roughly at the back of my mind, I know that the equilibrium line is going to open around here on Monday, even though it has not yet opened yet, but I know this is where market is going to open. So it means that the blue line is far above and the green line is going to be anywhere around here roughly. So that automatically qualifies to be a sell trade alignment. So the next thing I need to do is to switch back to the D1 time frame to look for bearish candlestick. Remember, in a buy alignment, you need to look for a bullish candle. In a sell alignment, you need to be looking for a bearish candle. So this is a sell alignment. So I need to, on the D1 time frame, I need to be looking for a good bearish candle. Now, this bearish candlestick does not look good. All right, so I'm going to be ignoring it. Okay, you can see this bearish candlestick here that does not look good. I'm going to be ignoring it. So I'm going to look out for what is happening on this other bearish candle here. Now let me mark out the supply area of that bearish candle. And then I'm going to switch lower to see the type of formation we have on the candle. Now you can see when I switch lower, this is the formation as I switch to a lower time frame, right? So you can see how I'm doing all these things step by step, step by step. So now after I switch lower, I need to mark out my proximal line and distal line in a more proper way. So I can see we all know how to mark proximal line, distal line. So all you have to do is just to know how to mark it and so on. This video is not about teaching you how to mark proximal line, distal line, remember? So at least my proximal line, distal line should be here. So highlight the area with your yellow box. For those who don't know how to mark proximal line, distal line, go back to the proximal line, distal line video and rewatch it again to know how to do it. Now you can see this is the formation when I switch to a lower time frame, right? You can see how good this formation is. Also, what I mean by 1:3 is you can see this is 1. When market was dropping down, market gave us a 3. You can see this is more than 1:3 when market was dropping down, right? So whenever you have a formation like this, mark out your proximal line, distal line on the zone, and you need to calculate this area. You need to calculate this area. If the drop in price is not up to 1:3, don't take the trade. Only take the trade if the drop is 1:3 or above 1:3, okay? The same thing applies for a buy trade. In a buy trade, if you have a buy formation like this, remember we usually mark out our proximal line, distal line like this. So you need to calculate if the rally in price going up is up to 1:3. So if it is up to 1:3, it is good. But if it is not up to 1:3, don't take the trade. Don't take it, okay? It is not good. So now you guys can clearly see that the area here looks good, right? You see the area here looks good. The drop in price, it looks good. It looks good. This is an indication that banks are the ones that drop down the market in that area, all right? So we are expecting price to come back here and price to go down, isn't it? So that is it. Now that zone, when I switch back to the D1 time frame again, you should be able to see that the zone is sitting on the D1 time frame bearish candle supply of the bearish candle. All right, so that is it on how to look out for location on the work zones, okay, on the work zones, on the work. All right, and this procedure also this same procedure, this same method also applies to the monthly equilibrium line, okay? You need to apply this same method for the monthly equilibrium line. The only thing that changes on the monthly equilibrium line is on the monthly equilibrium line we don't have alignment. So how are we going to know if we should buy or sell on the monthly equilibrium line? Remember, the monthly equilibrium line we usually use trend to know whether we should be buying or selling. If there is a downtrend on the monthly, so on the first day of the month and so on, then you need to be selling. If there's an uptrend towards the ending of the month, then you need to be looking for a buying opportunity and so on. All right. So, but this is how the weekly trades work. Okay. You can see these trades, they've not happened yet. They are still yet to happen. So, and so on. All right. So that is it, guys. This is a sell alignment, as you can see. And the reason why I was looking for a sell trade is because we are in a sell alignment. Then I switch to the D1 time frame to look for a good bearish candlestick, and I mark out my proximal line, distal line at the supply of the at the supply zone of the bearish candle. Okay, so that is it, guys. So right now we are waiting for price to come back into the zone and then take it. Okay, so that is it. That is it. That is it. Now, one thing you guys need to know is also that no strategy is a holy grail strategy, right? You need to, sometimes you lose small, but what matters is that you win big, right? You win big. So also, whenever you are taking zones, also always make sure that your zones on a higher time frame, your zone is not sitting in your sell zone is not sitting in a demand area. It's not sitting in a demand area. Okay, you can see this sell zone that I have here is a little bit far away from the demand area, right? It's a little bit far away from the demand area. So depending on where the area is, even if all the parameters is being followed and your trade is not corresponding with a higher time frame demand or supply level, it is not going to work. Okay, so make sure you always know how to identify where your zone is sitting on a higher time frame. All right, so that is it, guys. So if you have any question, feel free to ask me a question on the group.